Welcome back, everybody, and greetings. This is going to be a freaking banger. We've got Game 3 of Walrus Slingers versus Aeon LMAO. Game 1 and 2, absolutely fantastic games. Honestly, I don't think one was blowout at either point. It was absolutely crazy. Walrus Slingers, Aeon LMAO, super excited for this. Honestly, if it's anything like the first two games, I'm pumped. If it's going to be better than them, I honestly don't know what else to say, because really, these guys have been going at each other's throats. It's been crazy games this entire time. And really not much else to say. We're going to have a Storm Spirit and Undying going to be first banned out here from both teams. We saw Undying be pretty useful last game. Didn't end up winning the series with that Undying, but came very, very close. Tuskar, Storm Spirit, Quap, all pretty, tier 1 bans, and that means that the Leshrak's going to be left in the pool, and it's going to be an instant pickup over here from Walrus Slingers. And really, if I'm Aeon LMAO right now, I'm pretty scared, as N2K has been playing fantastic in the mid lane in both games. Obviously, his team didn't win one of them, but he's really still shown that he's pretty scary in the mid lane, and you're going to have to, focus him down a little bit, maybe gank him a little bit aggressive there, and try to slow him down, because he's been playing very well for his team. And I think that'll really be what Aeon LMAO has to focus on if they're going to hope to win this series. And to not get knocked out here, we've got the two titans of the CET division, the Saturday and the Thursday leaders here. And really, you can tell with the quality of the games that we've seen so far here. Paschetti, N2K, Dieter, Uncle Yar, and MYS. It looks like we actually did have a substitute here. MYS is actually going to be substituted. He did get brought in after Da Vinci got taken out. I'm not sure what happened there, as I am casting this as a VOD, unfortunately. Sometimes I can't make these live games, but they did change out Da Vinci for MYS. So we'll have to see how that's going to affect their game. Maybe be a little bit better, maybe a little bit worse. Maybe Da Vinci and Dieter kind of mesh a little bit better together. But we'll have to see what, if any, roles are going to be swapped here as well. I'm not really sure what MIS prefers to play here, but we'll have to see. Meanwhile, Aeon LMAO is still tanking that full team roster that they've been going through for the entire series. Aeon Jib, Tangerine Rabbit, Capanese, Saf, and Prompt. All of them have been playing really well this series as well. We saw Aeon Jib last game play a pretty solid silencer. And look at that. Wyvern is going to be the pickup right after the Leshrak and the Wyvern Lina. So I do like that. Wyvern, I love watching a really good Wyvern play. Get off some really nice saves. Get that Glimmer Cape. Save somebody with the heals, and it's a ton of fun to watch a really good Wyvern. It's almost like an art. Lina as well, fantastic. Probably going to be in this mid lane up against the Leshrak here, and so scary to go up against the Lina late game. That 950 pure damage when she has that Aghanim Scepter. She's got the easy setup with the Yule Scepter if that's how she chooses to build. And they're going to counter it with an Earthshaker. So they're going to say, you know what, we're going to get this long-range initiation. We're going to pressure the Lina mid lane. We'll have that Fissure so she can't play as aggressively. We'll also have that Fissure to cancel perhaps her stun from quite a distance away here. And it's going to be a Phoenix ban. So Aeon LMAO actually going to say, all right, you guys had a pretty solid Phoenix last game. We don't want to deal with that this time. We're going to take out the Phoenix. So a respect band on that Phoenix, 100%. And Walrus Slingers is going to reply with the Huskar. They're saying, all right, well, we've got a lot of magic damage so far. We don't want you to take a Huskar, despite the fact that we could probably counter it out with our last couple picks. But they're just going to leave it there. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. And we'll see what the last ban over here from Aeon LMAO is going to be. I'd imagine the thing is that they've got to ban a core and a support. They really have to choose between so many heroes right now. Lion's still in the pool. I imagine a Lion ban would be really pretty solid here, or even a Skywrath Mage. Both heroes are really good at dealing with the Winter Wyvern. As well as the Lina here. You've got the Silence up from the Skywrath Mage, as well as the ultimate on top of the Wyvern heal. And then you've also got the Lion, who's got a solid Hex, a stun, as well as a Mana Drain perhaps. He's got the Finger that deals with the Winter Wyvern ult quite well. And there it is. So the Lion's going to be banned out there. A nice little ban from Aeon LMAO. I think that one pretty much lends itself to the two heroes that they picked up here. But that does leave Walrus Slingers with the Skywrath, and that means if they want to grab the Skywrath, it's going to be very scary roaming duo potential between the Skywrath and the Earthshaker. A huge initiation with the slow and a huge initiation with the Fissure, and we'll really have to see how they want to play that as Aeon LMAO. They're going to be looking for their third pickup here. Could be looking to grab something like a Rubik, perhaps a more defensive support, give you some innate magic resistance there, help deal with those long-range fissures. Perhaps steal Fissure yourself, steal Lightning yourself. Earth Split is really good on a Rubik because he does not have that cast point delay. It's an instant stun. You can't tell when it's coming. and it's really going to work well with that Lina, that setup with the lift, and then on top of that you just throw down the Light Strike Array. Very easy to set that one up. So I think a Rubik here would be a pretty solid pick, unless they're a little bit worried about giving away their 2 supports. But I already think there's enough to steal and enough setup to warrant the Rubik. And it's actually going to be a Clinks. So they're going to grab the Clinks. I do like that. That's going to be scary for the Leshrac later on in the game. He's just going to absolutely pop to this Clinks. He does hit Invis units with his Pulse Nova, as well as Edict, I believe. So perhaps could be a little bit scary for Clinks if he gets caught somewhere and he tries to invis out, but he's still getting hit. So we'll have to see how that one works out. If he, especially if he goes for an Orchid Rush Clinks here. We've seen, I know Artesian Fear have been playing Clinks quite a bit lately. Envy not so much, but both Artesian Fear have kind of favored the hero a little bit. They played it in ranked matchmaking, tried it out, experimented a little bit, you know, got a Desolator data list, and maybe figuring out kind of the build to go with here. And I do like that. It'll give you some pushing power. It'll give you a lot of support pressure now, because Walrus Slingers is going to have to be careful with who they pick as a support here. They don't want to pick somebody too squishy. You know, you don't want to pick a Crystal Maiden as unless you're looking to end the game at around like 30 minutes. After that, she's pretty much just going to be food for this Clinks. I mean, Lion's already banned out, so he's not a big deal. If you pick up a Skyrath, the Skyrath is also going to be food to this Clinks. So it could be quite a field day over here for this this Bone Fletcher, as I do like that pick. Even though it's early on, you'd think maybe, oh, you know, they can counter it very easily, but definitely not. They do have some good stun, which is very important against a Clinks. He's a very, how do you say, like a slippery hero, running all over the place, and a Shadow Demon. Okay, so a Shadow Demon is going to be, it's going to be fantastic for counter ganks, first of all. If the Shadow Demon is on point, he's going to be preventing even a Laguna Blade. Even if that happens once, if he disrupts somebody right as Lena's Laguna Blading him, dodges the damage, that'll be absolutely huge. I will give mad props to whoever does that, but Shadow Demon's going to be really good as well. Huge setup for that Fissure, huge setup for that Split Earth, and this is a pretty scary support, honestly. And he is squishy, though. So that's the thing I'm saying, is that they've got to look to end this game around the 30-minute mark. They've got some good early fighting heroes. The Earthshaker probably won't be getting a Blink Dagger if they play it properly. Honestly, he should just be going for some mana boots here and not looking for the huge fissures, just looking, or excuse me, not looking for the huge Echo Slams, just looking for a nice fissure and to try and buy his team some space to really win a team fight off that initiation there. We'll have to see how it goes. It's going to be a Tidehunter follow-up there, so... Alright, both teams just ready to fight early, and this is going to be an exciting game, a very exciting game already. I'll tell you right now, both teams gearing up to just fight and to fight early on. Shadow Demon, Tidehunter, Clinks, Lina, Earthshaker, Wyvern, Leshrac. I really don't know heroes that fight earlier than that. I mean, the Huskar got banned out, so he's a pretty good at fighting early. The Tuskar, the Undying, obviously good at fighting early. Storm Spirit, nah, not so much. Quap, pretty good at fighting at 6. Gyrocopter, those guys got banned out, and aside from them, we've got a lot of really mid-game fighting going on here. And again, I would really like to see the Rubik over here on Aeon LMAO as a last pick here. As if you're going to be fighting early, if you can get the 6 on Rubik, if you can find the space to get the 6 on Rubik, that could be absolutely massive. We could see perhaps like an offlane Earthshaker if Walrus Slingers wants to pick up a Rubik for themselves here. But I think we'll most likely be seeing a core that's going to be fighting early on. Perhaps something like a Slark, just get him like an Aquila Treads, and then move into a Shadow Blade, something like that. He'll be fighting pretty early here. We could even see a safe lane Shadow Fiend, who honestly isn't too bad at fighting early. He just needs some souls. After that, his raises are very scary, especially if you can set up an easy ultimate with the disruption. And it's going to be an anti-mage. Okay, so not something I would really expect here, as there's a lot of early game fighting over here from Aeon LMAO. And in my opinion, a little bit risky. If this Clinks gets out of hand, they've now got to deal with an Orchid Clinks up against an Anti-Mage. And really, an Anti-Mage likes to go for the Battle Fury Vlad's build. Doesn't like to skip the Vlads for a Manta there. It doesn't really give you too much. Maybe a little bit more killing power. But in terms of split pushing and staying out on the map, you really want the Vlads here. And that's going to be pretty tough, especially... I mean, really, they're picking it into Alina. The Yule Scepter Light Strike Array is actually pretty well instant if you time it properly, which isn't too hard. You should be able to get the Light Strike Array before the Anti-Mage can blink. And then obviously once she has the Laguna Blade, the pure damage, doesn't matter what kind of spell shield Anti-Mage has here. And we'll have to see how this works out for them. The Spirit Breaker is going to be the ban from Aeon LMAO, really preventing that 4v5 fighting early on with the Spirit Breaker, who's fantastic at that, by the way. Get a nice charge for an easy gank, really disrupt the fight with a charge in there, and I do like that ban. I think that would have been a very scary pickup for Aeon LMAO to deal with, even with the Tidehunter here, and we'll have to see. I think Tidehunter's pretty good at laning up against the Anti-Mage. They've only got the Shadow Demon as the ranged hero, and then they've got 2 melee heroes, so Earthshaker won't be able to harass. Shadow Demon won't be able to do much. If you disrupt the Tidehunter, he's just going to anchor smash anyways. The illusions are either going to die or be hitting you for pretty well 0 damage. And it's going to be a Witch Doctor ban, so they're afraid of that Witch Doctor. Aeon LMAO did play that last game, and the Witch Doctor was pretty solid. Did get a couple nice death wards off. I don't think it was anything game-changing. Do I think Rubik is still a pretty solid pickup here? Yes, honestly, I think Rubik could still be very strong. He's got some good stuns yet again to pick up, so he'll be able to stun out this Anti-Mage. Lift is pretty strong here as well to help deal with that Anti-Mage. If he can steal Blink, that's going to be pretty huge, and it's going to be a Night Stalker. Alright, so the Night Stalker is going to be the pickup here. This is going to be so aggressive from Aeon LMAO. It's going to be a safe lane Lina most likely. No. What? Oh no, it's a support Night Stalker. Okay, so it's going to be a support Night Stalker. Not going to be that scary early on for Walrus Slingers then. I think the biggest thing is going to be the vision, and I do like the Night Stalker. Whether or not he gets a lot of work done, as an anti-mage, you have to play a certain way. You know, you want to split push a lot. You want to cut creep waves a lot. You rely a lot on vision, and what does the Night Stalker do? He's going to limit that vision. He's got the darkness, and after that change to limit wards and tower vision, really, he's terrifying to play against. You have absolutely no idea where anybody is, and there it is, the Magnus. So if we didn't have enough team fight yet, why not just pick up the Magnus? It's going to be most likely an offlane Magnus here, and we'll have to see how he does. It's going to be pretty tough to go up against the Clinks, the Lina, as well as the Night Stalker. Or excuse me, the Clinks, the Wyvern, as well as the Night Stalker here. So it should be a Lina mid, Tidehunter offlane, unless we see some janky aggro tri-lanes here. Perhaps going to be a mid Leshrac and aggro tri-lane with the Leshrac, Paschetti, and Dieter over here as well. And it looks like no, N2K will be the mid player. So here we go. We'll just break the teams down, as it's going to be Capanese, also known, I believe, as Hora Hora, over here on the Wyvern. Shout out to Saf's draft last game. I believe Saf actually sent me in this series, so big shout out to him. But if you guys do enjoy my casting, I highly suggest, and I'm not just saying this because it's my cast and whatever, but I highly suggest checking out the game. I believe it's called RD2L Saf's draft. That was probably one of the most fun and probably one of the best games I've ever casted. It was hilarious, a ton of fun, really back and forth. I don't want to ruin the ending, but I would seriously go check that out if you have the time. I don't believe it was too long. Like, it's not like some 2 or 3 hours, stupid, ridiculous, whatever. But really, that was a fantastic game. Anyways, it's going to be Tangerine Rabbit bringing up the Clinks prompt, as well as Capanese. They're going to be the supports here. Meanwhile, that's going to leave mid lane Aeon Jib, and that's going to be off lane Saf. So we'll have to see how this one works out, as Dieter, as well as Uncle Yar, getting a little bit aggressive here. Looks like they're going to be running a dual lane, and it's going to be a mid lane N2K Leshrac. I thought that would be the case here. N2K, we'll have to watch him on this mid lane. Pretty explosive player in my opinion, and that's going to leave MYS on the Anti-Mage, and Paschetti going to be on the Shadow Demon. So it's going to be dual lanes yet again for WSS, so trying to be a little bit greedy, and Clink still hasn't scaled anything just yet. No need to. Magnus is coming up, could look to skewer onto the cliff, but a little bit too far, and looks like they will just trade runes here. Saf getting a little bit aggressive here. He's just going to turn around, walk right back into the lane. Going to lose a little bit of HP, but N2K did as well, so not the worst thing that could have happened here. So I'll really have to watch this mid lane, and it'll probably tell the story of the match. N2K with the first last hit. That's it. That's game. No, I'm just kidding, guys. Of course, N2K probably should get off this guy right now. And try to highlight some of the other plays in this game, because they've all played very well throughout the series as well. I don't think I've seen one weak link, really. Both teams, again, we are, it doesn't show here, but we are in a best of 3. This is game 3 now. As we did see last game, Aeon LMAO come back from pretty much, or excuse me, WSS come back from what seemed like it was going to be a huge stomp. The Aeon LMAO got like a 30-minute racks, and then from there it looked like it was going to be over. But they did come back, and it was a really good game at that, a really nice comeback from them. So good job from WSS there, as N2K played a really strong windrunner that game. And it looks like they're going to be on Dire this time instead of Radiant like they were last time. N2K 5 for 2. The anti-mage as well. MIS doing a pretty good job up here, as looks like Paschetti really forcing this Tidehunter out. He does get Gush first. Doesn't get Kraken Shell or Anchor Smash. So a little bit odd there. A little bit uncharacteristic perhaps. It looks like Aeon Jib did get fissured there mid lane, as Uncle Yar is just soaking up his EXP. That's really all he needs here. It looks like the Night Stalker, though, going to start right-clicking him. And Night Stalker with that pretty hefty base damage is pretty hard to deal with there. And 5 armor on a Night Stalker as well. Just such an annoying support to deal with. This looks like we've already got 3 stacks of Shadow Poison. Is this going to be a kill? One more, perhaps? And one more right-click could be enough, but it looks like no, he should be all right there. Probably would have taken more than one right-click anyways, so not going to be able to get the kill. Paschetti instead actually going to trade up a lot of his HP as well. Meanwhile, mid lane, I'm sorry I missed that, guys, as it was a first blood for N2K. Not far behind, though. Lina does manage to get the kill, so does definitely come out in N2K's favor, but Aeon Jib at least trading there, so they both do have their bottle, and they both have plenty of regen left over still, as Dieter going to be able to soak up a little bit in this mid lane. Going to be about halfway to level 2 there, so pretty happy with that one, I'm sure. As N2K does come back to the lane as well. Both heroes TPing in. Meanwhile, MIS still getting nice farm up here. 15 for 8. Clinks, though, not far behind. He's 13 for 1 here. He's going to go for the Aquila before Boots. Going to, not really like he needed that base damage. Maybe thinking he needed the mana regen here as well. I don't think that he didn't really need the Boots. It was a tri-lane, and he doesn't have to be that safe or anything like that. So no big deal. He's going to, you know, like that bonus damage. Does give him the option to push the lane if he wants to. N2K going to take a little bit of harass mid lane. You'd be expecting that maybe he'd be harassing this Lina out a little bit more, but he's last hitting very well here. So is the Lina, though. She's 12 for 1 up against the 12 for 4 of N2K. So perhaps N2K meeting his match in the Leshrac Lina duel here. As not doing as well as we usually see. We really saw him dominate the lane last game. Tangerine Rabbit here. Still doing pretty well in his lane. The real story here is how early will this anti-mage come online. He's going to pick up the Ring of Health. We'll see if he goes for the treads. And again, I missed that mid lane. Unfortunately, sorry guys. I'm really off, I guess, it seems, this game. As they're going to get a kill into this Leshrac despite 2 supports being there for the Dire. So really, the Radiant is coming out on top of this. Even though their Tidehunter's only level 2, they're winning 2 lanes. Tidehunter doing pretty well. Not that far behind the Magnus. And really, level 6 Tidehunter is a lot scarier than a level 6 Magnus. That RP at level 1 doesn't really do much. Uncle Yard taking a lot of harass here. The damage from the Wyvern as well as the slow on top of the searing arrows from the Clinks is going to be doing quite a bit for himself there, as Night Stalker is just going to secure this bottle rune for Aeon Jib. As it looks like they are going to go over here onto Saf. They do have the fissure from Dieter. Could block him out, but no. A little bit of miscommunication there. Dieter getting a little bit scared. Obviously, a little bit of a weird animation thing going on there. Mid lane, nothing really going on just yet. Prompt is kind of close behind Aeon Jib here, as he is going to drop the Null Talisman to bottle up. Got to have that efficiency. And 3 kills, not too bad for about 4.5 minutes in. It does look like they're getting ready to go on to Aeon Jib here, though. Paschetti is quite close. Does have all the abilities he needs here to convert for a kill. 2 points into the Split Earth, but that's really all you need if it's going to be set up anyways here. As Aeon Jib playing very defensively, though. Going to walk up to the creep wave just now. Paschetti getting ready for this right now. The Dragon Slave does miss here, and again, Aeon Jib still playing really nicely here. This is where you want to position yourself in Prompt, though. He's nearby. He knows what's going on. He sees Paschetti. He's saying, hey, Aeon Jib, let's maybe look for a kill here. Paschetti's very squishy. 3 points into the Dragon Slave. There's the fissure, though, on a Prompt. And now he's on the wrong side of this fissure. Perhaps finding himself a little bit caught out here, though. There's the disruption. They aren't going to be able to get the Sun. N2K, is he going to perhaps go down here? The 1-shot strike clip from the Luna. No, he's going to actually bottle it up. Lena's not going to be able to get the kill. N2K very, very close to dying there. And he's actually just going to turn around. Does have 3 points into the lightning here. Do we have another fissure? There it is. They're going to fissure him up. Not going to be able to stun up Aeon Jib, though. That damage would have been very helpful here. Look at the lightning, though. Are we going to get a double kill? N2K, is he going to get it? No. The salve up is going to be just enough. 9 HP onto Aeon Jib. What a freaking player. Barely surviving here. N2K probably a little bit upset with that one. If the fissure would have hit, that would have been huge. But Dieter, unfortunately, a little bit off mark there. Just going to prevent the Night Stalker from continuing on there. As MIS is going to get a nice stack here for himself if he wants to grab that later on. There's no ward to block it. And he is actually going to get the pull there as well. So he is going to grab the boots. Looking like he is going to go, I imagine, for the treads first. And that gives you a lot of potential here. As looking like he wants to move in to farm these neutral creeps, but not going to be able to do so. This means that the Tidehunter could kind of walk towards them, but maybe a little bit scared. Doesn't know where anybody is. Meanwhile, N2K with an Invis rune on this mid lane. Maybe just should wait for level 6 here. But probably going to get a little bit greedy. Looking like he wants to go for it, perhaps. Getting ready to stun. Is going to miss on the stun, though. Not really going for her. Perhaps expecting her to walk towards that, but not going to be enough. Dragon Slave doing quite a bit of damage here. Over to this mid lane. N2K going to bottle up a little bit and last hit these creeps here. As he is going to be going for the phase boots, so not the same old Leshrac that we usually see here. Is going to pass off his bottle to Pasquetti, get a little bit of a bottle trick there, so nice for him. Going to get a full bottle there. Doesn't even need to grab a rune here. As look at the wardage over here from the Dire. Going to be very safe. This one's at least going to go down, so Pasquetti going to be looking to place his second ward, as we do see the Soul Ring picked up over here by Tangerine Rabbit. Does have his treads now as well. And Anti-Mage actually not looking like he's just going to rush the Battle Fury here. He's got to be careful, taking a little bit of damage from Prompt. Probably needs a support somewhere around this top lane to start helping him out a little bit here. But Prompt doesn't really have much mana. He's got to be careful as well. We do have a Mana Void, even though he does have very low mana pool. But there we go. The Mana Boots picked up on the Tidehunter. Going to secure a little bit more mana for this Night Stalker. Probably going to use it to harass a little bit. Meanwhile, mid lane, N2K, Dieter, and Pasquetti getting a little bit aggressive here. But Aeon Jib knows that everybody's missing off the map. He's going to be a little bit careful, and that's going to prompt the TP in from Capanese here. Not going to be able to do too much, though, as the supports are going to leave the lane and just kind of rotate around here. Looks like they're going to try to go top lane, help MYS a little bit, who's just going for the straight rush here. Does have 1,400 gold to spend on the Claymore whenever he wants to pick it up here. He's going to unfortunately miss that last hit. Still has a salve to his name if he wants to use it or perhaps sell it to maybe get a little bit more towards that Battle Fury. Meanwhile, Dieter, though, he's here. Prompt is going to get healed up there. A nice save by the Wyvern there, and he's just going to walk away after that one. Cold Embrace. Going to be enough to heal him up there, and nice little save from him. Bot lane, meanwhile, it looks like Magnus. Clinks is not far behind. He is going to pretend to throw the illusion up in towards the lane, and Clinks is going to check Roshan there real quick, as they should know that it's an illusion up in this lane now, and Magnus not doing too bad. Actually has about 700 gold 8 minutes in, so he's having an alright time in that lane. Almost level 6 now. Not going to be too effective, like I said, for a little bit, but still going to help him out quite a bit. MIS doing a pretty good job of controlling this lane. There's the disruption, though. They're going instantly. There's the kill actually going to the Shadow Demon. The Mana Void was spent from the Anti-Mage there, who does actually go for the treads and actually going to go for the Perseverance next, so not opting to go for any damage items. And I do like this. It's going to mean that he could probably take this stack here when he wants. Unless he stacks it again. Pasquetti going to go for it again. And meanwhile, they're actually going to try to make a go over here on MIS. Just going to tank up a little bit of that harass and not really care all too much. Not going to be able to blink away before he does get hit there. And there's quite a few neutrals here now. So if they can manage to steal this, that's going to be pretty, pretty hurtful towards the Anti-Mage. If he can get a Battle Fury up. And he is going to see Prompt at the very least. Prompt does have the Orb of Venom. Is going to probably ping out the stack. He's saying, hey guys, there's a stack here. We should really look to steal it. Although we don't have 3 points over here into the Splinter Blast, actually going into the Arctic Burn. So a little bit odd considering there's an Anti-Mage and a Magnus. The Arctic Burn not going to do too much against their mobility abilities here. And it looks like they are going to start going on to Saf here. And Saf, he does not have Ravage just yet. That would be absolutely massive here if he could get it. We've got a disruption here as well. MIS getting so dangerously low right now. Has to be careful. There's the fissure over here from Dieter. If only he had more. But just look at the damage. Pasquetti is going to try and disrupt himself, prevent any of the damage from coming out. And there's the Mana Void to secure the kill. And 2K showing up as well. He's not going to be able to do too much, though, as the rest of the team's already dead. There's the Dragon Slave. Not going to be able to find the Anti-Mage, though. And now Aeon Jib now has to turn around and hightail it, as there is an Observer Ward here. And is that... Excuse me, I'll watch this before I go on here, as N2K is very low. He's going to get Laguna Bladed. That's dead, N2K. Even Clink's rotating up here. Tangerine Rabbit, which means there's going to be a free lane bot lane if anybody wants to take it. The tower was grabbed earlier on there, but I do want to see if that ward... Okay, that ward is just barely on the cusp of those stairs there. A little bit further down, and they probably wouldn't have gotten any vision from it. They are going to pull this creep wave and look to pressure this tower again. They want to move this Anti-Mage as far out of his lane as they can, and he's farming quite well here. It's 10 minutes, 10.5 minutes in, and he's pretty well got his Battle Fury in about 3,000 gold there. So not far off whatsoever. As a mid lane, we are going to have a TP in from N2K. Is going to return to that lane. He's 1-3, so not having the greatest game right now. I was talking this guy up the entire time, and it looks like he's having a pretty tough game so far. Did opt for the phase boots, which aren't going to help him tank up too much. Mana boots means he's not going to be going perhaps for like an Octarine Core or Bloodstone anytime soon. Definitely not Octarine Core, guys. Don't do that. Just go Bloodstone. And it looks like Aeon Jib is just going to farm out some creeps. Does have a haste rune bottled here as MIS just going to move into the jungle, kind of give up the lane, as it is a little bit scary with this Clinks as well as with this Tidehunter, who still is yet to hit level 6, oddly enough. Level 4 on the Earthshaker, which is pretty good considering we're 11 minutes in. Actually, not the greatest. I guess level 4.5, almost level 5, so not too far off. We'll see if he's going to be able to get a deny on this tower. He's going for the good old PPD build here. You get the Soul Ring, you get the Tranquil Boots, and you just have never-ending regen and mana, so you don't have to worry too much here. As they do see Aeon Jib there. MIS does scout him out. Meanwhile, Leshrac is going to get a kill bot lane over here onto the Wyvern, it looks like. So Wyvern's going to go down. Nightstalker actually dying somewhere else. I'm not really paying attention that well so far. A little bit tired, but hopefully I'll get into it after this. Get a little bit better, as looks like Tangerine Rabbit looking for Dieter in the lane here. And he will find him, but he's actually just going to go for the tower. The stun from Dieter, though, not going to be able to get the deny, though. Meanwhile, bot lane, another kill over here onto this Nightstalker, as Paschetti does have a dust up here, but it's just going to wear off by the time he comes out of this disruption. Just look at the damage on a Tangerine Rabbit, and excuse me, on a Paschetti from Tangerine Rabbit. Now, Tangerine Rabbit has to be a little bit careful. If he's got a Soul Ring Fissure, could be enough to secure a kill. They're looking for it. They won't be able to find it, just barely going to miss over here on the Tangerine Rabbit, who does have 3 stacks of Shadow Poison. Finally going to wear off now, and Dieter's got to be careful. Tangerine Rabbit's close by. He's absolutely going to blow him up right now if he just throws down into his Searing Arrows. 4 points. Going to actually decide otherwise. Probably could have just checked his mana and said, yeah, I can easily get this kill. Meanwhile, mid lane, this Aeon Jib is trying to pressure this tower as bot. N2K does manage to grab the Radiant tier 1 there, so nice little pick off from him, as Uncle Yar going to rotate mid lane. Regen up a little bit after throwing out his Shockwave. Does have his Blink Dagger. 12 minutes, 13 minutes in, so just as I was saying this Magnus wasn't going to be that scary, they didn't really deny him enough, and he's now got a Blink Dagger as well as a Mango if he wants to use it to get a kill onto Aeon Jib mid, and it looks like perhaps that's what they're looking for. They do see Prompt. He is going to run up the hill and kind of show himself off. Silence up onto the Magnus, prevent a kill from happening, as they are going to throw down a sentry mid lane, but that's not where it is. It's right there. A nice little find from Paschetti. They know that Prompt just kind of walked up there and threw down his silence, and they see something's up here. We have a little bit of a null in action. We are going to see Capanese rotate to the bot lane here. Lena looks like she is going for the Yule Scepter. Does almost have it. Just a little bit off, actually. I think she might have it here. As Anti-Mage still leading the last hits despite having kind of a tough lane top. They do get the tower. It looks like they are getting ready to go on MIS. They've got the Ravage. They spend it, and it misses. A huge whiff over here from Staff. Unfortunately for him, not going to get MIS. Meanwhile, bot lane, another kill for this dual roaming combo of Uncle Yar and N2K. We saw them bot lane so often. They're actually going to get this double stack here as well. So a nice little find for them. I'm not sure if they stacked it or if the enemy team did, but whatever the case, they are going to steal some of the jungle farm. Meanwhile, Tangerine Rabbit is going to go Invis here. Does have a creep eaten, so he's hitting for about 130 damage. N2K has to be careful. He's got absolutely no mana here. Dieter's close by with a fissure if he needs to spend it. Tangerine Rabbit still going to go for the chase here. Do have a bottle up from N2K now. Mid lane, Anti-Mage still doing alright. Probably looking at about a 15-minute treads Battle Fury, so pretty good job for his farming rate. Tangerine Rabbit just going to rotate now and just start to farm up a little bit more. He realizes that he hasn't been doing too much despite being off the map so much, and probably just going to look to grab his Desolator before anything happens here. As we've got some weird, I have no idea what is happening right now. Why, when he hits, are we missing an animation? I'm so confused right now. Not sure what's going on there, as we do have 3 heroes mid lane. Paschetti and Dieter just kind of sitting behind N2K, maybe a little bit afraid of a gank that could be coming up here, as Winter Wyvern's rotating in as well. Dragonslave going to be off the mark, not going to hit N2K and harass him out as she most likely would have hoped, as Prompt is moving into the jungle, trying to steal whatever creeps he can from this Anti-Mage to try and prevent him from getting his Battle Fury, as it did get slowed down a bit actually, only about 800 gold, so I thought it would be 15 minutes. I thought he was a little bit closer than that, but not going to be the case here, is still looking for about 500 gold. Getting a little bit more slowed down thanks to that last patch that reduced the gold from creeps there, but N2K not doing too bad. He's just about got a Yule Scepter of his own. We do have a finished Yules over here on an Aeon Jib, so N2K not too far behind despite dying 3 times, and Aeon Jib only dying once, getting a couple kills and assists for himself there. As Uncle Yar looks like he's ready to make a go on a Tangerine Rabbit here, or he's just content with soaking up whatever he can. It looks like he's got his mana boots as well, so as far as this Magnus goes, aside from his level 11, he's got everything he could hope for by 15 minutes, and that's going to be pretty nice from him. Speaking of which, Dieter going to be looking for another nice stack here for the Anti-Mage. I would imagine give him a little bit more gold after he gets that Battle Fury here. Should have just barely got that one, I think. Yeah, should be getting that stack as well, as Last creep just barely leaving. No, not going to get it. Yes, he does get it. So just barely grabbing that one. And Anti-Mage is going to be very happy with that. Just another couple last hits off that Battle Fury. And that's going to be 16-minute Battle Fury treads, which is pretty solid. Despite being thrown out of his lane, like I said, as Tangerine Rabbit rotating up for the mid lane, wants to grab this tower. And this is really annoying when you're an Anti-Mage. You really want to keep your out of towers. There's the RP, though. He does go invis. Is he going to bring him back? No, it took too long. Unfortunately for him, going to miss the skewer back. And that could have been enough to get the kill. They don't have the stun there from the split earth. I would have expected to go for it. And actually, Aeon Jib getting a little bit aggressive here. He's going to get, oh no, the ulti on the Uncle Yar, though. Going to prevent the disruption from being able to do a little bit more. Aeon Jib, he is going to get a little bit more damage over here from the Shadow Demon. As Uncle Yar blinking up, has to be careful. Going to get silenced by the Night Stalker, as it looks like that'll be the end of that fight. Anti-Mage still farming quite well here. Going to finish up his Battle Fury as well as pick up a TP. So, unfortunately for him, not going to be able to grab the Battle Fury before his team does steal the Flying Courier here. And he's just going to blink out, a little bit afraid of Saf, as he doesn't know perhaps who could be around here. And not a bad idea whatsoever. Saf, though, does have the Ravage up and probably going to look to push a tower here with it. They do manage to get the mid tower without getting any casualties, and that's going to mean a finished deso for this Clinks here. And is Prompt going to see this stack? That's going to be very important in this game. I would honestly think that this stack is something you would want to contest with against an Anti-Mage here. He's going to be grabbing the Battle Fury, probably running straight for that stack. And man, if I'm this Anti-Mage, I'm so happy right now. There it is. Going to steal this stack. And by steal, I mean take it as it is in his base. And going to be pretty happy with that. And just look at the cleave damage. Thank you, Magnus. 1 point is all it takes. Just give you a little bit more damage, a little bit more cleave. And he's going to be 800 gold right after finishing that. So it's going to be quite nice for him. Unfortunately, going to hit the wrong tree there with the Battle Fury and cut down just a random tree. So not the biggest deal here. He should be able to blink over here and probably pull this if he wants to. He doesn't even need to blink, perhaps, as it looks like. Not even going to stack it. Just going to kill it and back out. Could blink out and perhaps not. Alright, well, you know, shit happens. Anyways, mid lane, it looks like N2K is going to make a go over here, but Tangerine Rabbit's close up, and he does have the Desolator. Look at that, 1, 2, 3, N2K is going to pop. Tangerine Rabbit's got so much damage. Uncle Yard does blink in, doesn't have the RP, though. Meanwhile, Prompt is going to pop the ultimate here, and he is getting slowed up by the Winter Wyvern as well. Uncle Yard now has to be careful. Does have the RP if he wants to spend it. Not anymore, though. He's going to get silenced up. They could turn around. There's the Ravage, though, the blink. The Echo Slave actually going to land. The Ravage only going to hit the supports. They are going to get a double kill over here on a Tangerine Rabbit, though, and it looks like Pasquetti should go down here as well. He is getting chased over here by Prompt as well as Saf, and Prompt actually getting juked out a little bit there. There's the blink up from Saf, though. Just look at the damage. There it is. One more right click from Saf and is going to be able to secure the kill. Prompt's got to be a little bit careful, but what a team fight that was. 3-0. The damage over here from Tangerine Rabbit is disgusting now. 1,400 gold after finishing that Desolator, and we'll see what he's going to want to pick up next. And honestly, I think a sheep stick would be fantastic here, especially against the Anti-Mage. If you can get that sheep, he's not going to be able to manta that off. And there's the Yule Scepter. Where's the stun? There it is. Not. Oh, just barely going to land. And there's the Laguna Blade. And this game is very much so in Aeon LMAO's favor now. They've got the items they need. They've got to be so careful up against Tangerine Rabbit now. And this guy's just got free reign everywhere. He does have a Sentry Ward mid lane, so he knows that nothing's there. And he's probably just going to want to go eat a creep before he goes out again. And just look at the damage. Not even with his searing arrows there. It's pretty huge. And look at that. They're perhaps going to go on to Uncle Yari, who's got negative damage here. Excuse me, negative armor. Just from that gush. There's the stun up from Tangerine Rabbit. He's got to be careful, though. Do we have the blink RP? We do. If he could go for it. But it looks like they've got no true sight. And they're not very comfortable with chasing that one. So I can't blame them there. And Jib just going to be farming up this jungle here. Anti-Mage still dead for another 10 seconds. We'll see what he wants to build here. As the Manta is going to be very important for getting out of kills. And really, it's going to be pretty hard for him. He may even need to go for a BKB here. Looks like he's going to go for the Vladimirs. He's going to grab the headdress as well as the Basilius for himself here. Mid lane, they perhaps are going to get Tangerine Rabbit. Wrong place, wrong time. Under the dust, actually. They did get dust. Yeah, so they found him with the dust. Nice little dust from Dieter. Going to get a killing spree over here onto N2K. And that's exactly what you needed. So they're going to be safe for another 40 seconds. And that's the biggest thing here. The Anti-Mage can be more aggressive. The Leshrac especially can be more aggressive. He'll probably... Okay, so he's going to be going for an Aghanim Scepter, I believe. Could be a Bloodstone. I was going to say he should probably grab a Ghost Scepter here. It's going to be tough. Of course, you got a lot of magical damage, but really, if you don't want to get 3-shotted over here by the Clinks, who's got 1,200 gold, we'll see if he wants to move into a crit stick next, or a BKB perhaps, just to ensure that he doesn't just get eaten alive. Meanwhile, we've got it dominating here, as Aeon Jib is going to find the Earthshaker, is going to pay with it for his life, though, as maybe not, perhaps, no, he should still go down. Is he actually? Oh, okay, so he is going to go down. Does have the treads, perhaps could have lived if he changed to strength, but at least does have the 2 items he needs for his Aeon Scepter there. And that's a dominating streak going over the way to the Leshrac there. N2K getting a couple kill sprees, and now he's got a double damage, 940 gold. Going to be getting a few items for himself here. So nice little pickups for N2K. He's going to use the lightning there. Not going to go for the stun though. Just going to use the edict and try to get some damage out onto this tower. Unfortunately, it's not trading over to the creeps here. We could actually see Capanese come up with the curse, but it's not going to happen. There's the Eul Scepter up. The stun to follow up, though. And now Sal's got to be careful. Look at the damage just from the lightning, the skewer, the shockwave, and getting a little bit too aggressive. Meanwhile, Clinks doing what Clinks should be doing. Anti-Mage does get caught without his blink, I believe, so probably blinked into camp, and that's all Tangerine Rabbit had to wait for. And this is so scary right now. You've got to be so diligent as to where Tangerine Rabbit is. If you see they're getting these free picks mid, you should probably be a little bit more scared on the anti-mage. Maybe he was thinking he was going for Dieter, another juicy kill on this bot lane, and he's going to be grabbing his mana boots, I imagine, if he wants to, or perhaps just saving up for the blink dagger. Going to be finding some good farm himself, which is very important when you are playing the Earthshaker. You really do want that blink dagger later on here, and looks like they're not going to be looking to end the game early on. They're pretty comfortable with their Magnus as well as their anti-mage here, and AL going to have to pressure quite a bit here if they want to take it into the late game. They've got the Clinks as well as the Lina, but they certainly won't be able to fight up against N2K as well as Uncle Yar, and MYS over here on his anti-mage has died quite a bit, but he's getting closer and closer to that Vladimir's offering, and that's when it'll be very annoying. He'll be cutting the creep waves. He'll be farming so efficiently here, and from there he'll just get the Manta. Clinks, what's he going to be grabbing? Does have 2.1k. Could get the crit stick whenever he wants it. Is in his jungle. Nobody around here, though, so not going to be able to find a kill. Is going to seal this invis rune. Perhaps not, though. Just pinging it out saying, hey, if they have a ward here, I don't want to show. And N2K could get just about 3 hit if Tangerine Rabbit finds the right angle here. Looks like N2K is going to run towards mid. Perhaps going to be looking for that rune here, and guess who's waiting right at it? It looks like Tangerine Rabbit going to steal it. He does find N2K, who's all alone. No, did he just barely miss him? Just go for the kill. He's so alone right now, and it looks like Tangerine Rabbit either just missing him or having second thoughts there. Is just going to go to farm the bot lane here. Does still have the invis rune. Meanwhile, mid lane, we do have a Eul Scepter. Aeon Jib getting a little bit scared here, but there's the ultimate. The Winter's Curse, though. The disruption, as well as the fissure, or excuse me, the Echo Slam. But look at the damage. Dieter's going to go down. He spent the dust to try and at least help his team. There's the Blink Ravage. Uncle Yar's going to get caught. Pasquetti's going to go down. There's the one to help keep him alive. Is he going to go down? He's still alive right now. There's the Shadow Poison. The Dragon Slave's going to miss. Tangerine Rabbit is going to go up on a Pasquetti. Going to get the last right click. There's a double kill going for him. Uncle Yar's got to be careful now as well. Tangerine Rabbit's close by. And looks like he's just going to give up the chase, perhaps here. And maybe not. They're just going to pop the skeleton walk again. Uncle Yar, he's got to be careful if he's going to get some damage on him. It looks like Tangerine Rabbit's so close right now. He's got to be careful. Anti-Mage is TPing in as well. Tangerine Rabbit could possibly get a kill with him as well. It looks like he didn't get the one right click to kill Uncle Yar. Now he's a little bit afraid of what could happen here. We do have the blink from the Tidehunter. Huge plays right now. Anti-Mage doesn't know where to blink. He's going to blink towards the secret shop. Doesn't have his ultimate. Doesn't need his ultimate. But look at the damage. There's the Fissure, though. Is it going to be enough? Tangerine Rabbit, is he going to be able to get a kill on a Dieter? Look at the damage. Turn around. No. MYS is going to get a double kill, and a beautiful play from Dieter and MYS, just barely baiting out Tangerine Rabbit there. The force staff on this Magnus, who's having the game of his life so far, didn't die there, which was absolutely huge in terms of that team fight. Didn't die. I'm not sure if he didn't have his searing arrows on, perhaps if he was on agility treads, but whew. There's the Vladimirs and almost the Yasha now. Only about a couple hundred gold more needed for the Yasha, and MYS suddenly, he's 4 for 2, and take a look here at the net worth. It looks like the Anti-Mage is leading, not by much, but he is leading now after that team fight, getting a nice double kill. More importantly, one of the kills was on the Clinks here. As mid lane, looks like Aeon Jib is going to throw somebody up with the Eul Scepter. Do we have the blink? Yeah, we do have the blink RP, so maybe not going to spend it. The Ravage was very nice there, but they instead decided to go for Pasquetti instead of Uncle Yar here. We'll take a look at the graph. As AL is leading, but they're starting to lose it. WSS is coming back, and it looks like the EXP at the very least is in their favor, and this is getting scarier and scarier. The Anti-Mage is getting stronger as this game goes on. The Lina does have the Aeon Scepter, though, and that's going to be absolutely huge. Very close to level 16 as well, which is pretty important here if she can manage to get that 950 pure damage. Anti-Mage almost dying to that, actually. So once she hits level 16, he'll have, you know, a couple levels himself, and he's almost level 16, actually. So not doing too bad himself here. But once we have the level 16 on the Lina, just need about a Dragon Slave and a Laguna Blade, and that should be a kill. Maybe if you can get the Sun. No, there's the Force Staff. They had the Disruption as well. It looks like maybe they want to make a go on Aeon Jib, but they're not going to be able to get it, as he does just TP out, and, or excuse me, just Force Staff, or Haste Rune out. What am I trying to say here? That dust threw me for a loop, as they were looking for Tangerine Rabbit. Not going to find him, though, and Look at that. He does manage to find himself a Demon Edge here, which is huge damage up against whoever's on this team. It looks like we do have, it looks like could still be a Bloodstone. Most likely going to be a Bloodstone, I imagine. Still could be a Yule's, or an Octarine Core here. Aeon Jib going to throw him up. Going to get Yule Sceptered himself, though. And now he's got to be careful. Fissure actually going to be up knocked. There's the Blink. There's the Ravage. As well as the Winter's Curse taking so much damage. It looks like N2K is going to go down. Pascetti's trying to run away. The Light Striker Ray is going to catch him. Clinks, meanwhile, in the back. It's going to be the one to get the kill on the Leshrac. And that's going to be a 3 for Nail, so a beautiful Blink Ravage there. Going to start off the fight. Meanwhile, Anti-Mage got to be a little bit careful here. He's going to blink into the trees and try to get away, and he should be able to do so. He's just going to TP home. Capanese does blink in there, TP in there as well, and MYS going to rotate to the bottom lane himself. Should probably be creep cutting a little bit more to prevent these waves from getting as close as they are. Blink up, probably grab this one, and then I'd probably blink up back here. They don't have the Ravage, they don't have an Orchid. You see the Lena's mid, so it's pretty, you can play pretty aggressively as long as you've got eyes on this Lena and this Night Stalker here, which they do. So they know that they're all mid. They don't have eyes on the Lena anymore, so now he's got to be a little bit careful here. Lena is just going to rotate back mid lane, though, and that's going to be a TP bot lane from the Tidehunter, who does regen up. Doesn't have Ravage, though. Anti-Mage could look to maybe pressure him a little bit, but instead, just going to take the jungle here, rotating towards this mid lane as there is a Lena illusion. We'll see if it scares off MYS, and it looks like no, it won't, so not going to be enough to scare him off. Meanwhile, it looks like we're going to have a disruption over here. The ult from Prompt as well. Tangerine Rabbit going to get caught out. There's the Dust as well as the Fissure. There's the RP actually going to catch Aeon Jib. There's the Skewer back on 2. Are they going to be able to find the kill? There's the Echo Slam. Prompt's going to go down. Lena's going to use after herself up, and Aeon Jib not going to be able to secure anything there as her illusion trying to get some work done, but N2K, don't worry, buddy. It's just an illusion. Pasquetti nearby, and a triple kill for N2K, and that's going to be just about his Bloodstone whenever he wants to pick it up there. I believe he's like 20 gold off or something like that. Very close. Nevertheless, Pasquetti is going to rotate and place down a couple wards here. Not going to find anything there, so just going to place his Observer ward. We do have a fairly safe Radiant ward. It is going to go down right now, though, and Anti-Mage just doing Roshan, so I'm not sure, honestly, if he can do this. It's going to take a really long time, and he's actually just going to say, you know what, guys, screw it. I can't do it. Don't have the damage just yet. I would probably need a Basher and a Manta in order to do that, and he's just going to back off a little bit. It looks like the rest of his team, though, is going to smoke up, and Anti-Mage is probably just going to blink in. Is going to just grab some neutrals here as well. Perhaps going to move in the whole team here, as they still don't have Lena for another 14 seconds here. They do have this bot tower, which they could look to take, and Tangerine Rabbit, maybe wrong place, wrong time. The rest of the team smoked up. Do they have anything for True Sight? They do have a sentry. They are going to catch out Capanese here, as he is getting a little bit too aggressive there, placing a ward. Meanwhile, Tangerine Rabbit, Pasquetti is going to get blown up in about 2 shots there. Not what he wanted to happen. They don't have RP for another 30 seconds. A blink down over here from the Magnus. N2K, though, he's invis up, is perhaps ready to go over here on a Capanese. Is going to find him, though. There's a sentry ward, and there's the Winter's Curse. They do have the Ravage as well. They've got to be careful. They'll blink RP in about 20 seconds. The ulti from the Anti-Mage is going to secure him a double kill. The Clicks is going to go down. The Ravage over here on MYS. The Blood's still going to be enough to heal him up, though, and now they've got to be careful. It looks like they don't have the Laguna Blade here. They did spend it. There's the blink up from MYS, though, just doing so much damage. Has the Vladimir, so he can man-fight absolutely anybody. There's the Sun, though. Now he's got to be careful. He's going to get silenced up. There's the Fissure, though, going to be maybe enough to keep him alive, but no. There's the RP. There's the Skewer. Do they have the Echo Slam? They don't have the Echo Slam just yet. They don't need it, though. Look at the damage. Data's going to get a double kill. Not going to be able to secure the right click onto Saf before he can come back, and now everybody's back up. The only one they're missing is the Anti-Mage for about 60 seconds. And the Bloodstone death there, actually keeping him alive for a little bit longer, does manage to, unfortunately, eat the Light Strike Array there and cause his death, but very close to being a huge team fight win for WSS, and perhaps a Roshan off of that. They're just going to rotate mid lane, use the Edict as well as the right clicks, and take this tower, so nice little win from them. Maybe not, though. There's the TP's in. They don't have the Ravage just yet, but now Tangerine Rabbit's getting quite aggressive. Just look at the damage over there. Does use the Yule Scepter. Now they gotta be careful. The Blink Echo's gonna land on 3 heroes, only stunning 2, though. Dieter, meanwhile, he's gonna take so much damage now, and perhaps second guessing what he did there. N2K perhaps could have turned around with all his abilities and gotten some kills, but getting cold feet and maybe a little bit of miscommunication between the two of them there. It's N2K just gonna rotate towards his bot rune and pick up the bounty for himself here. It's Tangerine Rabbit getting closer and closer, gonna go for an MKB here, not a crit, and now we've got the Anti-Mage, does have the Manta, so not going to be afraid of the silence over here from the Night Stalker. If he pops it at the right time as well, perhaps going to be able to dodge that Yule's, that Light Strike Array, that Laguna Blade. Meanwhile, there's the Yule's up over here onto the Clinks. N2K going to try and TP out. No, he's going to get Yule Sceptered up, though. Now he's got to be careful. Trying to output whatever damage he can, but absolutely blowing up to just a couple abilities there. And that's going to prompt them Roshan. They've got the Desolator. They've got the right-click damage, actually, from the Lina as well here. And just look at how fast he melts now. Going down to about half HP. They'll probably want to give the Aegis over here onto, I'd imagine, Tangerine Rabbit. That means he can be quite aggressive and not have to worry about Sentry Wards. Do they have any Blink, Echo Slam, or anything? Dieter's actually going to throw out the Fissure. Oof, if only he was there to steal it. Would have been a little bit of a way too sexy TI4 play, but not going to be able to do it. And he's just going to be looking to pick up his Force Staff next. Uncle Yard does TP bot lane. They are ready here. They do still have massive team fight here with the Blink Echo Slam and the Blink RP. They don't have Echo Slam for another minute, though, so not going to be looking to take a fight. And looks like they will give the Aegis over here to Tangerine Rabbit. Almost finishing his MKB. Just needs another little bit of farm as N2K going to be running towards the mid lane here. Aeon Jib just going to try to find some creeps for herself, but not going to be able to do so as we do have a smoke picked up over here from the Wyvern, as well as some wards over here from the Shadow Demon. So this little pickup from him. Going to be grabbing some wards and throw those out. Both teams with pretty well just mid lane vision right now, as they both just have a couple wards around the runes. Meanwhile, mid lane, we are going to have a Yule Scepter up over here on the Uncle Yard, though the Force Staff again saving his life. So Force being pretty instrumental in him surviving a couple of these Light Strike Array, Dragon Slave, Laguna combos, and they are going to find a regen bottle over here on this Lina. Is going to pick that up. Nice little grab for her. Going to be able to use that later on, perhaps. As we've got all the ultimates on cooldown now, or off cooldown, I should say, for the Radiant here, and for the Dire as well. So we are going to see a team fight most likely. Anti-Mage split pushing quite well. Going to be moving into a Heart next, so really needing that HP, especially up against the Lina here, who's already taking about more than half just with the Laguna Blade here. Meanwhile, mid lane, it looks like we are going to have a fight. Tangerine Rabbit getting gone on. There's the Sentry Ward going down. N2K now just running up. He's going to get Winter's Curse, though. Uncle Yard blinking for the RP. But no, he's going to have to right-click N2K. There's the Blink Ravage. N2K is going to go down. Uncle Yard's going to get healed up thanks to the Bloodstone. But no, he's going to go down. At least pop the Aegis before he does so. And can they continue to chase on a Dieter, though? No Blink Echo Slam. They've got nothing else to follow it up. They are trying to prevent the TPs over here. The Anti-Mage is actually going to get the Tier 3 tower, I believe. Are they going to deny it at the very least? It looks like no. Dead Hunter, yes. Saf is going to at least get the deny for himself. Is going to try to wand up, but instantly going to lose his mana yet again. So a little bit unfortunate for him. Going to be moving in towards his Refresher now. Does have the one Perseverance up, and looks like they are going to just look to take this mid tower. They are going to fortify it, though. And they don't have the RP for another 72 seconds, which is absolutely devastating. They spent it and only landed on one. Paschetti's going to absolutely blow up here. There's the Clinks. Just look at the damage. And there's the MKB. So now this Clinks is getting scarier and scarier by the minute. MYS has to be a little bit careful. He's going to actually blink up over here on a Capanese, who is going to spend the... do they have True Sight? Yeah, they do have True Sight, so they're actually going to choose to go on the Clinks. N2K, there's the stun. Tangerine Rabbit going to get caught out. Anti-Mage is going to get the kill. Could continue to blink over here on a Kahora. It looks like he will. Not before he at least gets the Cold Embrace himself, but he's still going to go down here. Anti-Mage is going to get the double kill, and that's 2.5k now, so getting closer and closer here. But the Aghanim Scepter now for the Night Stalker. This is what they've been looking for here, and it's going to be very important in all honesty in terms of initiation this game, as they will be able to scout out this this Magnus later on in these fights. They do have the top towers down, though. This is kind of what we saw last game. One team just kind of stomp it down around 30 minutes, look to get a Rax here. He does get Force Staffed in by the Tidehunter, I believe. Not going to be able to secure a kill with that, though. We don't have Ravage for another 46 seconds. Dieter does have his Echo Slam here if he wants to spend it. Meanwhile, bot lane, it looks like we could be seeing a kill. Don't want to skip out there just yet, as there's a lot going on here. Looks like the Magnus could get Yulesed up, and he is going to Force Staff out of the Yules there, I believe is what I just saw. Meanwhile, Anti-Mage is going to blink out, and looks like Aeon LMAO is going to perhaps get the kill, though. Finally getting very low, though, with that, so Aeon Jib just going to grab that one before, looks like the Magus perhaps tried to TP out there. No, just kind of dying, so unfortunately thought he could probably get the kill with a Skewer and a Shockwave, but not going to be the case here. As Illusion Rune, quite nice rune here when you're an Anti-Mage. Usually you want to send them to a split push or something like that, but just going to use them against the Ancients here, try to clear them about as fast as possible, but really when you've already got this much farm, you can clear them with just your heroes so quickly. We've got a BKB now for the Lina, which is going to be huge in terms of the mana burn as well as the mana void here. She's a prime target with that 1700 mana pool here. If she spends that in a fight and gets mana voided, that could mean 2 or 3 kills at least, but looks like she is going to grab the BKB here, and a little bit of lag there. Night Sucker is going to pop the ultimate. Now they're chasing over here after Paschetti. They've got tons of vision here. Prompt is just so fast. And even only with the brown boots, there's the force staff on his Paschetti. Could they perhaps get some TPs here? If only they could. There's the TP in from the left track. Dieter still has the Blink Echo Slam if he wants to spend it. It looks like Capanese wants to make a go on it. Is going to try to use the Winter's Curse. Not going to be able to do so. Is going to get used up and just kind of back off after that, as we do have a TP in from the Magnus. Now, we have a TP home here from Tangerine Rabbit, and perhaps this could be what they need. Tangerine Rabbit, though, now going to go in. If he could get perhaps a lucky basher on MYS, but just look at how tanky he is now. They're slowly losing the window that they have over here to kill MYS. Meanwhile, mid lane, they are going to make a go on it. The Fissure is going to be spent. N2K is going to walk over here into this, looks like the, oh no, there's the ulti as well over here on a Dieter. It looks like he tried to get the skewer back. MYS is just going to get BK beat out here, and there's the Ravage, the Laguna Blade. MYS is going to go down. N2K is the next target. It's going to get silenced up. Uncle Yar looking for the RP, going to land on 3. Blink Echo Slam, please, Dieter. There it is. Blink Echo Slam is going to land on 4. N2K still silenced up. Really needs to get that purge off now. He's going to throw out the lightning. Is it going to be enough? No, Aeon Jim just barely surviving. Now they're going to continue to chase here. N2K, there's the Blink from Saf. Going to be able to secure the kill. Paschetti going to be blown up in about 3 hits. Going to try and disrupt himself, not before he at least dies, though. Probably going to be doing so, and there it is. There's his death. They should be able to get this mid tower on Tangerine Rabbit here, as he does have the damage if he wants to spend it, and that's going to be a 4-for-1 trade when all is said and done. Earthshaker going to be the only one to survive, and whew, the fight recap says it all. 2.1k. And the EXP change, 7k EXP change. We'll take a look at the graphs real quick, and we can see just up and down, almost like an ECG, and ridiculous. 2k lead for AL now, and the EXP about 8,000 in their lead, so they should be able to get this tower. The Clinks does have the MKB, can still miss uphill though, so not going to be able to, I swear MKB didn't let you miss uphill, but still going to be missing uphill, unfortunately for him. He's just going to walk up there and should be able to take this Rax as well. I don't believe they're going to buy back on the anti-mage. That would be pretty foolish. If they were going to buy back, they should have bought back to protect the tower, and Dieter is going to get, actually, oh no, a little bit of miscommunication there. Are they going to be able to get the kill? There's the stun, the force staff out though on a Tangerine Rabbit. The Glimmer Cape as well, going to be enough to keep them alive, maybe just for another couple of seconds. The Fissure actually blocking them off and kind of doing the opposite of what they had hoped for there. MIS is going to TP in though, going to be looking for at least 1 kill here. Capanese is kind of close though. They do see him there, I believe, with the vision. They do have a null talisman on the ground. Nobody really cares about that. There's the blink up. Can they get him before the haste rune though? Oh, luckiest haste rune of Capanese's life. Hora, buddy. Is going to spend the Glimmer Cape as well. Anti-Mage looking for the kill. Not going to be able to get it. Just going to blink in towards the Ancients here. And does have his heart finished up now at the very least. So this is when WSS is going to perhaps look to pressure the enemy team. Roshan not up for another couple minutes yet. So unfortunately for N2K, going to be looking in there. Not going to be able to do anything off of that. As it's going to be moving in for an Octarine Core. This Bloodstone hasn't been all too effective whatsoever here. And at least give him a mana pool if nothing else here. As Tangerine Rabbit going to eat a creep and perhaps look for another kill. Now has the Crystallis, and N2K has to be pretty careful bot lane as he's all alone. Does have the Yule Scepter to throw himself up in the air or to throw Tangerine Rabbit up in the air if he wants to do so. And Tangerine Rabbit, N2K is actually quite quick here with his phase boots and is going to slow down. Try to juke around the trees, and look at that crit damage. About 700 damage just from that one right click, and isn't going to Yule Scepter himself up as he is going to be quite alright here. Does have a regen rune here whenever he wants to pop it. Hopefully he won't pop accidentally while he's trying to do Ancients or anything, as I didn't see when he picked it up, but MYS just going to go top lane. Nice bit of farm for him that he's going to be able to grab here, and going to be probably looking towards something like a Basher into an Abyssal Blade next, I would imagine. Probably your best option here, especially once this Lena has an BKB. You really need that Abyssal to help control her and hope that she doesn't just kind of crush you. And could be looking for a BKB himself here. Does have the heart though, so it's quite tanky. 2.7k HP here. Could be looking for a Butterfly up against this Clinks, but he already has an MKB actually, so forget I said that. That would be absolutely awful. And the wards are going to be grabbed over here from the Wyvern. Tangerine Rabbit still farming quite well himself. Actually not leading net worth just yet though, so still a lead of net worth on this anti-mage despite the lead that AL has here. If we take a look at the last hits, he's got about 354, so last hitting quite well. Just about 50 under, probably what he should be. Should be around 400 last hits at 40 minutes, but considering the pressure he's been under and you know, a little bit of a tougher start, I don't blame it whatsoever. Meanwhile, Prompt is smoked up behind the Lena as well as Tangerine Rabbit. He does see Uncle Yar here. They could go on for a kill if they want to make it. There's the silence up. Uncle Yar trying to force stuff out. Lena's just going to spend the Laguna Blade. He's going to go down. Meanwhile, the fish are going to catch Prompt though, and can they continue to chase after this? It looks like no. There's the ulti going to be popped, and that's going to be a wasted TP over here. N2K and MYS now both sharing this this farm, and N2K just, or excuse me, MYS just going to TP or blink towards mid lane, and Clinks is pinging out the Roshan saying, guys, he's up now, and We really need to do something about this. Try and steal it from them if we can. Kind of do have the refresher as well. On the Tidehunter, 3-6. Can he spend it yet, though? 9, just barely enough mana to spend it. That level 19 would help him out quite a bit here. And probably going to get it after the Roshan. Let's see what he wants to grab after that. Is going to force Steph. Try to force Steph over the cliff, but I believe trying to force Steph over the cliff. Alright, here we go. The Roshan will get started. Tangerine Rabbit going to be the one in the back, just right-clicking it down as they're going to let Aeon Jib tank it a little bit. He's so slow right now. He's getting stunned up here from the MKB as well. Desolator going to be doing a ton of damage and a ton of work here. And that's going to be a dead Roshan. We'll see. They are going to give it again to Tangerine Rabbit here. Doesn't have enough mana, though, so we're going to be a little bit annoyed with that one, as they're going to TP back on the Tidehunter as well as the... looks like... I think I'm going to Blink Ravage. No, I thought he was just about to Blink Ravage there, but they are going to Blink back, or excuse me, TP back on Prompt, as well as on Saf here. Is 30-23 is the score, and the Radiant is starting to pull ahead quite a bit themselves here, but the game is not over whatsoever. We've still got an Anti-Mage, Leshrac, Earthshaker, and a Magnus here, so we could be seeing some huge plays. Even just an RP into, you know, somebody with a little bit of mana. If you RP somebody and then just go ham on the Lina and then you alter, that's probably going to be enough to secure you a triple or an ultra kill here. As the Anti-Mage is going to pick up the Basher here. MYS not opting to save for buyback despite them having the eggs here, or excuse me, the Aegis here. So he's just going to blink into the trees. Getting a little bit scared here though, and they do know he's there. MYS does have the TP out if he needs to spend it here. He's just going to blink back yet again in the trees. Going to cut one out there, and he's going to blink one more time. Doesn't want to spend his TP. Just going to be moving back over here into the jungle and try to secure as much farm as possible here. A lot of the Radiant top lane, though, has to be careful he doesn't get caught out. That'd be pretty disastrous. That probably would just lead to the end of the game here, as N2K is going to be pushing out mid lane and Uncle Yar pushing out bot lane. So WSS doing a good job of spreading themselves out here, and not going to be losing out on a lot. Anti-Mage is going to blink mid. MYS going to be looking towards this mid Rax, as they do have one Rax down for themselves. It is the melee Rax, and they're going to be looking to pressure this mid Rax on the Radiant now. And oddly enough, despite the Radiant being the ones with the Aegis here, the Dire seem to be the aggressors more so than anything, as Tangerine Rabbit does at least have his TP, so can return home if he wants. Prompt as well does have his TP, so he's going to be moving in towards Vladimir's offering here, giving his team some lifesteal is always effective, as MYS going to be cutting this creep wave. Meanwhile, Aeon Jib is going to manage to get a kill bot lane onto the Magnus yet again. And we do have two sets of open racks here. Now we've got a TP back over here from both heroes, so they are going to spend the ultimate over here on the wrong Anti-Mage. There's the Blink Ravage, actually going to catch two. N2K and Pasquetti. There's the Refresher Ravage, still going to catch two. Not going to be able to catch Dieter, unfortunately, but it looks like they will go down here, as the Laguna, or excuse me, the Eul Scepter over here was spent. And there's the Unstoppable for Saf, playing really well this game, finding the proper Ravages, and MYS, they know where he is. They see him now. He's going to get stunned up. He's going to get silenced, perhaps. There it is. MYS doesn't have his Manta for another 6 seconds, 5 seconds, 4 seconds. Is he going to be able to survive here? No. He's going to go down. Clinks is going to get the kill, and I believe this is going to be the end of the Dire here. The game is starting to lag out a little bit. 43 minutes in, as Anti-Mage looking like he doesn't have a buyback here, and that's going to be the most important thing. So could this perhaps be the end of the game? A really solid draft over here from AL, but they also played it exceptionally well. And I don't want to say it's over yet, but it's certainly going to be hard. We're going to have to see an absolutely ridiculous team fight here from the Dire if they want to hope to stay in the game, as they are pressuring mid. They're going to be looking for this last Rax, perhaps, though. Clink's maybe getting some different ideas. No, just going to eat a creep here and ensure that he's got quite a bit more damage. They're probably going to try and just end it so that they can force the AM buyback. Once they see that he doesn't have the buyback, though, could be pretty huge. They're going to spend the sentry there, and Tangerine Rabbit just going to kill this Rax. They could rotate to top Rax as well, as long as the creep wave is in the base there, as Tangerine Rabbit taking a little bit of damage. Does still have the Aegis, though. There's the Eul Scepter up, though. If only they had a Ravage there, that would have been pretty huge. They're going to Eul Scepter over here up on the Magnus as well. There's the Laguna Blade, or excuse me, the stun actually going to land. There's the Laguna Blade. Disruption not going to be in time, and that should be the end of the game. They're missing two heroes. 24 seconds before Anti-Mage is up, and they're just going to go to end it. There's the Blink up. There's the Echo Slam. Going to kill the Clinks. It actually landed on 3, though. The Force Staff not doing what they wanted it to, and Dieter, he's going to be Force Staffed up there. He's going to go down now. He's the second. N2K trying to fight with whatever he can. Anti-Mage is up in 10 seconds, but no. Tangerine Rabbit just going to be right-clicking down these towers, and this should be a good game, guys. Unless N2K And MYS can pull out a huge upset right now and kill 5 heroes on their own. N2K is going to go down. Anti-Mage is going to spend the ultimate. Actually going to get 1 kill at the very least. Going to get Yule Sceptered up though. And now it looks like the H is going to go down. There's the Fortify though. MYS still trying as hard as he can. Prop is getting so low as well. There's the Manta up. Aeon Jim trying to end it right now. Tangerine Remedy's actually going to go down. There's a triple kill for the Anti-Mage. Give the man an ultra kill. No, it's going to go in. N2K is going to get a double kill. And folks, this game is not over. 45 minutes in. The Aegis may be low, but by no means is it over. The Gem of True Sight's down. All 5 heroes. N2K going to be rotating out to the mid lane. Anti-Mage, he's going to use his Boots of Travel. He's going to force some buybacks here at the very least. If he's not going to get this Rax, he could double Rax it here. They have to buy back. Everybody's dead for so long here, and we'll have to see who are going to be the ones to buy back. Maybe they're going to give it up. No, Lena's going to buy back first. There's the buyback from the Wyvern as well. MYS, so he doesn't want to stop just yet. Night Stalker's going to buy back as well now, and is going to manage to get 3 buybacks for his team. Roshan respawning in about 6 minutes, so they won't be able to pick that up, and just as I thought this game was over, ladies and gentlemen, we are still in it. Basher still on this Anti-Mage, going to be looking towards the Abyssal Blade. Doesn't have the money anytime soon, though. Probably would want to save for buyback. Only about 200 gold off the Mechanism going to be picked up, oddly enough, from the Tidehunter. I really don't think he's got the mana pool for it. And it looks like, look at this. MYS is going to go to Aeon Chip. There's the bash. Let's look at the damage. No, he's going to get ulted from this Wyvern. Is it going to be enough? MYS, you can't die right now. He doesn't have the ultimate. He's going to get Laguna Blade. Chip blinks out. There's the blink from Cody, though. He's got the Ravage. MYS, he's got a blink in 1 second. Not going to be enough. MYS is down for 100 seconds. What are you doing, MYS? Your team is nowhere near you, and a little bit unfortunate for them. Now they've all got to back up. Bot lane N2K and Uncle Yar are at least going to take this tower, but is it really going to be worth it? Uncle Yar going to try and pressure a little bit more here. Does have some nice damage at the very least, as it looks like the Radiant just pressuring down mid lane, and they've got buyback though on the Anti-Mage, and luckily enough they got the tower. Uncle Yar though, he's going to go down most likely. Laguna Blade not off cooldown though, and Uncle Yar perhaps could be able to survive here. Does have the blink in 1 second, needs to spend it. There it is going to blink out, and now they're going for the ult. There it is. The Aegis is going to go down though. Just look at the clinks, the Ravage, and that's going to be game, guys. Good game, well played. AL, WSS, both you guys playing the game out of your mind. CET Saturday, looks like they're the champions. CET Thursday though, not the worst of the worst. Still managed to put up a really good fight that game. Unfortunately, perhaps that last death from MYS was the straw that broke the camel's back. But what a series, guys. More importantly, what a game 3. Saf, buddy, thank you so much for sending this in to me. I'm sorry it took so long. Hopefully this series isn't old news and people will still enjoy watching it. But it was an absolutely crazy game. Pretty back and forth there. WSS, AL, both teams, great game. WSS, you guys should not be sad here whatsoever. You guys really put up a good fight. So good on you guys. You won't be the champions this year, but again, thanks for watching, and thanks for Saf for sending this in. If you guys want to take another couple seconds at the end of this video, I do have a little bit more about myself as well as my other series. I do like to cast RD2L, especially when the games are just like this. I mean, they're absolutely great. Again, I would suggest checking out RD2L, Saf's Draft. Probably one of the best games I've casted in terms of how fun it was and how nonsense it was. And thanks again for watching, guys. Have a good one. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to check out some of my other videos. I have my series From Lane to Lane where I just cast some everyday pubs that you guys send me. I also do some more professional pubs like games from Koikva, Miracle, whoever I can get my hands on from Dodo Buff. I have a learning series as well, so feel free to check that out. There's some more info in the description as well as some videos linked in the annotations at the end here. Thanks a lot.